Hi everyone, how are you? So welcome back to a new video lesson. In this video we're going to be doing the second part of unit number 5, and we're going to be talking about homes and things in a home. So the first thing exercise that we have here is a matching activity to learn some vocabulary about things in a home. So here we have Carol's flat. She's Carol, right? And what I want you to do is to have a look at the images, right, and try to identify what rooms can you see. So remember that flat is the synonym for apartment, right? Both mean the same. So let's see. First, image one, we have a kitchen, right? In number two, we have a living room. Number three is a bathroom, and four, it's a bathroom, right? So here we have four examples of rooms in a house. We also have dining rooms, where that's the place where you eat, right? You have a table, chairs, maybe a lamp, right? In Chile, most of the houses have dining rooms and living rooms combined together, right, in just one space. But there are also places in which you have them in separate rooms. And a study, which would be a place where you have a desk, a computer maybe, right, and some documents so you can do paperwork, work, or study over there. Now, if you pay attention, we have some letters, right, next to some objects. So what I want you to do is to match the objects with the corresponding name, right? So if you don't need the names, maybe you can do it on your own, right? But I'm going to try to make it smaller so you can see the concepts as well. There we have it. So there we have D and B. So you can have a look at that. D and B for that. Now pause the video and try to match the objects with the names. Are you ready? So let's see. I'm going to be giving you the answers. So we're going to start with A. So what we have here in A is called a cooker. That's the name. A cooker, right? For all of this equipment, we call the cooker. Now, this only section is called an oven, right? An oven where you can bake some cookies, right? Or maybe a cake. Then we have letter B. In letter B, we have plates, right? Plates. C, this is a shelf, a shelf. In Spanish would be something like estante, I think, a shelf. D is the cupboard, where you put your cups and mugs sometimes, right? This is the cupboard. E, that's cuddly, cuddly, right? That might be a new word for you. When we talk about cuddly, we talk about spoons, forks, and knives, right? We're going to put it in singular. Cuchara, tenedor, y cuchillo, right? Then we have F. These are wardrobes, wardrobes, right? Maybe you have wardrobes in your bathroom as well, or in your bathroom where you put certain things, right? Then we have the fridge. G is the fridge. H, this is a toaster, and we have pots and pans, ollas y sartenes respectively, pots and pans. Now for the next room, we have a computer, a plant, and a sofa, right? So you can also have a look at here. We have some books. We also have drawers, a lamp, a TV, right? A chimney. Those are common things you can find in living room. Then in the bathroom, we have the bath, right? Towels and the washing machine. Washing machine. Although machine is spelled with a C, we pronounce it as if it was an S. Washing machine. That's the pronunciation. And then for the last part, we have the wardrobes. We have two wardrobes, right? And the bed clothes, right? These are called pillows. And of course, this is the bed, right? Now, let's continue with exercises. So we're going to do a listening now. We're going to listen to Carol talking about her flat, and she's going to be telling us what is her favorite room inside her house and what activities she likes to do there, right? So answer those two questions while you listen to the recording.
Track 4.
Carol.
I live in a small flat with 4 rooms. There's a living room, a kitchen, a bathroom, of course, a bedroom. But my favourite room in my flat is my kitchen. I have my breakfast in the kitchen. I have my dinner in the kitchen. I read in the kitchen. I think I do almost everything in the kitchen. I enjoy cooking. I love cooking for other people, so yeah, that's why the kitchen's my favourite room.
Okay, so remember that if you need to listen again, you can pause the video and go back. Now, Carol talked about her flat, right? She said that she had 4 different rooms in her flat, and her favorite is the kitchen, right? The kitchen. What does she do there? Well, she says that she eats, right? She has lunch, or she has breakfast and dinner in the kitchen. She also reads in the kitchen, and she enjoys cooking for other people. So she also cooks. Now, let's talk about your house. So, how many rooms or what rooms do you have in your home, and what is your favorite one and why? So, for example, in my house, there are 3 bathrooms, a living room and dining room together, right? They are combined. I have a kitchen, and there are 2 bathrooms and a study, right? So my favorite room has to be my bedroom, right? Because of the decoration, it's my style, right? Um, the sun hits my room during the day, so it's very warm and cozy and comfortable. I have everything I need to work, or if I want to read a book, right? Or maybe if I want to watch a movie on the TV, I can listen to music, and there's a lot of things I can do in my room. Now, what about you? Try to think about how many rooms you have in your house and what's your favorite one and why. Now, let's continue. We're going to be studying about a concept which is called house sitting. House sitting is a word that doesn't have a translation into Spanish, right? But here we have the meaning. House sit, which is the verb, this is the noun and the verb, right? Means to stay in someone's home when they are away to keep it safe. An example of a sentence would be my friend always house sits for me when I'm on holiday, right? House sits because we're talking about a third person singular. Now, house sitting means, of course, that, for example, if your family goes on holiday, right, or on vacation, or if someone, or maybe your entire family has to travel to another place for any other reason, you may ask someone to stay and sleep in your house so you're not worried about the safety, right? So, to avoid a robbery, maybe, right? Or maybe if you have pets and you wanted to have some company, you can also ask someone to house sit for you. Now, do you ever house sit for friends or family? Have you ever stayed in someone's house while they are not there so you can keep the house safe? Or have you ever asked someone to house sit for you? And the second question says, do you think house sitting is a good idea? Why or why not? Right, so maybe um, there are certain people that don't like other people staying in your house, even though they might be friends or relatives, right? There are people that think it's a bad idea. The positive aspects would be that you are ensuring that your house is safe, right? But maybe you want to keep your privacy, right? Or if you don't trust the other person, um, it might be a bit complicated, right? So we have another situation here. We're going to be talking about Carol. So Carol is from the UK and she is traveling somewhere, right? And she has a friend from Spain, which is Estrella. She's staying in the UK now for an English course, and Carol asked her to house sit for her. So when you house sit for someone, of course, you want to know where the things are, right? So if you need to look for a specific item, you need to know where the item is. So the idea is for the person who is living in the house to give very clear instructions about the things, like where you can find certain things, or if they want you to do certain activities for them, like feeding the pets, for example, or watering the plants. We're going to listen to the conversation. The conversation is divided into 4 parts, and you're going to put the parts in order, and then you're going to answer some questions over there. All right? So let's listen to the conversation.
Track 5.
1,
Okay, shall we start in here?
Okay.
Well, it's very simple, really. You can see the cooker, but there's no microwave, I'm afraid.
No problem. Where are the plates and things?
Right, plates and mugs and stuff are up here on the shelf.
Oh, yes.
Cutlery's here, and pots and pans are down here at the bottom.
Okay. Where's the washing machine?
That's not in here. It's in the bathroom.
Right.
There are a couple of yogurts in the fridge. Just help yourself.
Okay.
Right. Where next?
2,
Okay. You can sleep in here, of course. The bed's quite comfortable.
Okay.
Those bedclothes are for you.
Great.
And there are some extra bedclothes and clean towels in the wardrobe if you need them.
Right.
And please use the wardrobe on the left. It's empty.
Okay, thanks.
3,
Okay. If you want to watch something, there are a lot of DVDs here and a lot more in the drawer. Here.
All right.
There's a computer, but it doesn't have internet at the moment, unfortunately.
That's okay. I'll manage.
Now, the big plant in the corner, could you water it 3 or 4 times a week?
Sure.
4,
Okay. Any questions?
Are there any shops near here where I can buy food?
There are no shops near here, no. You'll have to walk into the centre. It's 10 minutes.
That's not a problem. Is there an internet cafe?
Yes, there is. There's a small one next to the bus stop. It's called Cafe Contact, I think.
Oh, right. I know it. Can you show me the bathroom?
Sure. The shower's pretty easy to use. You just lift it.
Okay, so let's put the sections of the listening in order. So first, of course, they talked about the kitchen. Then they talked about the bathroom. Number 3 would be the living room. And the last one is things near the flat. Right? Now let's check your answers to the questions. So the first question was, what is in the fridge? So she said that in the fridge there are a couple of yogurts, right? There are a couple of yogurts. Number 2, where are the extra bedclothes? They are in the wardrobe. What's the problem with the computer? It doesn't have internet at the moment. How often does the big plant need water? She said 3 or 4 times a week. Are there any shops near the flat? No, there aren't any shops. If she wants to buy something, she has to walk to the city center, which is around 10 minutes, she said. And is there an internet cafe? Yes, it is next to the bus stop, right? And it is called Cafe Contact. So she can go there if she needs internet, right? Very good. Now, when you give instructions to someone about the things that exist or don't exist in your house, you're going to be using a very important grammar structure, which is called there is and there are, right? So these are the expressions we use to mention the things that exist or don't exist in a house. Of course, the main difference between that is that we use there is for singular and there are for plurals, right? And we can use them in positive or negative, right? So if you pay attention, here we have the images. Now, here we have a division of positive, negative, questions, and short answers. So let's do that and try to complete with the words that we have in the box. So in the first case, for singular, we have there is a computer in the living room. There is a computer in the living room. So we have the word a to suggest that we are talking about one object, singular. Now, when we use the expression couple of and a lot of, yes, we're going to have an exception. So every time we use this, both options will be correct. Ya, yo sé que puede sonar un poquito raro, pero cuando usemos estas expresiones, a couple of or a lot of, gramaticalmente ambas están correctas. Yo puedo decir, there's a couple of, or there are a couple of, or there is a lot of, there are a lot of. But when we talk about a couple or a lot, we talk about plurals. So we're going to say there is or there are a couple of yogurts in the fridge. And then we have there is or there are a lot of DVDs. Yes? Esto solo va a pasar cuando usemos estas expresiones, porque si no las tenemos, diríamos there are yogurts in the fridge, there are DVDs, right? Now, for negation, we have there's no, singular, there's no microwave, there are no shops near here. Now, this is the same as saying there isn't or there aren't, yes? But what happens is these ones are less common, yes? So it is more common to say there's no or there are no, right, than saying there isn't and there aren't. Also, if you pay attention, the expression is used as a contraction, ¿sí? Usamos el verbo de la forma corta. También eso es más común, usarlo así que así, alright? Now, for questions, of course, we cannot use short forms. And what you have to do is that you have to invert the roles. So you say, is there an internet cafe? Are there any shops in here? Now, the word any, this word, is going to be very useful for questions in this case, and for negations when we say there aren't. Cuando usemos esta forma de negación, lo vamos a usar, ¿cierto? Con any. In this case, we're not going to use it. But if you're using it like that, we're going to say there aren't any shops. Now, any is only used for plurals. Yes? So do not get confused with that. And for short answers, we have yes, there is, no, there isn't, yes, there are, or no, there aren't. Now we're going to see more exercises in a moment. So first, let's do number 5. It says circle the correct word. So we have underlined 2 options and you have to choose which one is the correct. So pause the video and do the exercise now because I'm going to be giving you the answers. So are you ready? Let's see. We have number 1 says there are a couple of radios in the house, right? One is in Cheryl's room. So from this part of the sentence, we can assume that if there is one radio, there would be more than that, and it is not negative. Number 2, there are a lot of eggs in the fridge, so please use them. Again, if I'm telling you to use something, it's because it exists. There is a microwave in the kitchen. It is a bit old, but it is okay. Number 4, there are a lot of plates on the in this cupboard on the top shelf. There are a lot of plates in the cupboard. 5, there is a couple of towels in the wardrobe. They are for you. So by they, we're assuming that we're talking about plurals. A couple of towels. 6, there's no computer in the flat, but there's an internet cafe on the corner. There's no computer. Now for questions, we have, are there any, remember the word any, are there any pens in that drawer? No, there aren't. Is there a washing machine in here? Yes, there is. Very good. Now let's go now to page 136 for mock exercises. Okay, so let's see. Here we have the explanation. You can use there is and there are to say that things or people exist often in a certain place. We can also use it for towns. So in my hometown, there's a university and there are a lot of parks. In my class, there's an architect and there are 2 doctors. You usually give more information about the things or people. So we say there's a bus stop near my flat to say where the bus stop it is. There's a train at 8 o'clock this evening to talk about when, right time. There are 9 students in my class to talk about how many. Why? Because if you delete this information, the sentence is incomplete. If I say there are students in my class, of course there should be students in your class, but the idea is for you to use extra information. You don't use it is or they are with this meaning. So you cannot say it is a bus stop near my flat. You say there is. Or there are a lot of parks in Istanbul. That's also incorrect. You say there are. You use there is with singulars and there are with plurals. In the negative form, there is no and there are no are much more common than there isn't and there aren't. So here we have singulars, plurals, and we can use both for when we talk about a lot of or a couple of. For negatives, there's no bus stop or there isn't a bus stop. There are no banks or there aren't any banks. Remember that we have to use the word any. Now, for questions, we can say, is there a bus stop near here? Are there any banks? Or you can also use the word how many, right? But in that case, you also have to invert the roles. So how many banks are there in your town or in your city? Is there a bus stop? Yes, there is. No, there isn't. This is a yes or no question. The second one as well. Yes, there are. No, there aren't. But if I'm talking about how many, the idea is for you to use a proper number, right? So there's one or there are 2 or there aren't any. There aren't any banks. Then we have contractions. You can use there is and there are with a couple of and a lot of if the noun is plural. Yeah, so the importance here is it is in the noun, right, and not in the expression. Now, complete the conversation with is for question, contraction s, are, isn't, or aren't. So pause the video and complete now. Are you ready? So let's see. The first one says, excuse me, is there a bus stop near here? We cannot use these for questions, right? So we say, is there a bus stop near here? Yes, there's one at the end of the street, about 5 minutes walk. Are there any good cafes near your flat? Yes, there are 2 or 3. There's a very nice one on the corner. We could go there. There's a very nice one. Then we have, are there any bookshops in books, in the cupboard? No, there aren't. There's only an old newspaper. So there's only an old newspaper, singular again. Is there a photocopier in your office? A photocopier in the office? No, sorry, there isn't. So I'm going to leave more exercises, of course, for you to practice on the virtual classroom and some videos as well. Now, for the last part, what I want you to do is exercise 7, which says that try to find 9 expressions used with in and 2 expressions used with on, right? So pay attention to the prepositions, right? Remember, this is part of the last video we saw as well. So let's find expressions with in and with on. So we have in the house, in Cheryl's room, in Cheryl's room, like inside, yes. In the fridge, we say as well. In the cupboard, on the top shelf, right? Remember that shelf is like a estante, so you put things on top of that, yes. And the cupboard has doors, right? So you can put things inside. The same as in the wardrobe, right? Because you put things inside the wardrobe. And then we have in the flat and on the corner, yeah. I'm going to explain this in Spanish. Voy a explicar en español solo para que no queden dudas. Cuando hablamos de la esquina, corner, right, podemos usar in y también podemos usar on. Cuando hablamos de cosas que están en la calle, en la esquina de la calle me refiero, ¿cierto? Como en este caso el Internet Café está en la esquina de la calle, vamos a usar on porque está sobre la esquina, está el café situado en perspectiva hacia abajo. Pero cuando hablamos de cosas que están dentro de una casa, con algo con techo, por ejemplo, si hablamos de un restaurante y decimos que queremos sentarnos en la mesa de la esquina de ese restaurante, vamos a usar in. ¿Ya? ¿Por qué? Porque ahí no hablamos de perspectiva, sino que estamos diciendo que algo está dentro de otra cosa cerrada, ¿cierto? Más grande. Right? So we can use both, in and on. Then we have in the drawer, right? Things are inside, and in here, right? So we use a bigger place to talk about that. So this is a good way of practicing your prepositions. And then, of course, for the last activity, you're going to be writing sentences about your homes. Imagine that there is a house sitter that is going to stay there. So try to think about food and cooking so you can give instructions to that person where they can find some food and what things they can use to cook in your house. Pots and pans, plates, mugs, cups. If they want to wash clothes, can they use your washing machine? You can also mention towels and bedclothes if you have plants or pets, and you can give some tips or useful things near your home. So if there's a supermarket or maybe a bank, or there's a bus stop that you can take to go somewhere, right? Try to write sentences about that. I'm going to be leaving a space in the aula virtual so you can post your answers, right? And I can give you some feedback. So that is the end for today's lesson. Remember that if you have any question, as always, you can contact me at my email and I will be happy to answer them, right? So I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.